I mean, we have to rebound the ball better. I mean, that's plain and simple. You can't have 2 defensive rebounds from your centers, especially when you play in the Big Ten. So, overly concerned about our defensive rebounding for sure. But we are a team that had, there were some positives with our 20 assists. That's a lot of assists in a college basketball game, and causing 17 turnovers. So there were some positive things, and sometimes if you're causing turnovers, you're playing with a little bit smaller lineup. But the defensive rebounding, look, some guys were in some spots that we didn't anticipate them to be, with Matt Nolan being out. He's been a guy we've really relied on. We play an exhibition game against Gonzaga, and Terrence Williams is our go-to guy. So we severely missed Terrence floor spacing, and Matt Nolan. I mean, those 2 guys arguably have been our 2 stabilizers, and they don't play tonight. Matt plays very, very little in the second, doesn't play a minute in the second half. So we missed those 2 guys. Center's got to rebound the basketball better. Saint was unbelievable at the point guard position with 9 assists in the first half, when Desmond Claude had 2 fouls. So I don't know too many guys that have 9 assists at halftime that play his position. So, but a lot of things we got to clean up as well.
Do you have any injury updates on the 3 guys?
No, I mean, Shelley's foot's been bothering him, and then he aggravated it. Nolan will just have to wait over time. Patton, the target date is the Cal game. We'll see how he responds over the next couple days of practice. Who else is hurt?
Terrence?
Terrence is a back spasm. It's quite honestly, it's the longest that I've ever had a player that's had a back spasm. So continue to get treatment, acupuncture. I've had a guy miss a game, but never 2 games. So it's he missed a game last year with it. So hopefully he, can get healthy.
Was it a scratch? Because he was, warming up. Was it a late scratch, or was it?
No, I thought, I asked him today at shoot around what percentage he was, and he said 75%, and then I just didn't like the way he was moving. And internally, I just made a decision for the long haul. There was no real reason to play him, and then have it re-aggravated, and then have him out for Wednesday's game, and then the Cal game on the following Sunday. If we would have lost the game, we would have had to second guess ourselves, or I would have second guessed myself. But he's now got an opportunity to get an extra day's rest and go at his own pace now in practice leading up to the game on Wednesday.
Dylan Darling had 22 points, 7 assists. How were you telling your guys to handle him defensively?
Well, he did a great job, across the board. His assists, his shooting percentage, he plays super hard, drew fouls. We got to get, better defensive play out of our point guard. Desmond, got to step up and be a great player on both ends of the floor, stay out of foul trouble when we're down with injuries, have a bigger impact on the game than what he had tonight. And his impact was minimal at times, and he knows it. He's a guy that's got to be one of our focal points on both sides of the ball, and we didn't do a very good job, anybody that was assigned to him. And then our young players committed some fouls that we have to try to teach them to defend without fouling when the oppositions are in the bonus.
Plus, generally, you get the win, but as you mentioned, the rebounding, some of the concerns. What's just kind of the general message, to the group in the locker room after this? How do you go forward?
Yeah, I think one, we got to get healthy. That's one, and 2, we got to get back and look at the areas that hurt us. It's hard to simulate rebounding. We got a million rebounding drills, but I don't. I think sometimes you get minimal out of that. You got to go do it in the game. You got to box out better, but we have to drill it because that's unacceptable. Our defensive rebounding tonight.
Coach, you shot 64% from the free throw line. I know you guys had the clutch shots at the end of the game. Is that something that worries you, or is it just kind of a one-off for you?
Well, I think it's always who's shooting them. But we've been a really good foul shooting team. I mean, we made, I think, 42 in a row the other day. We've had another day on the day of a game where we made 38. So, I mean, it's been the best free throw shooting team that I've seen in practice. But, you know, that doesn't mean it's going to carry over to games. I mean, we're in game 2. That has not been a concern other than tonight, missing the front end of, some free throws.
Coach, can you talk about Wesley Yates? He had 13 points in 20 minutes, 3 steals. He got the last steal at the end.
Yeah, he shouldn't have. I mean, we're up 3, and you don't need to gamble. Or we're up 4, I mean, right? There's no reason to gamble and potentially get a foul. So I'm going to talk to him about not doing that, to be honest with you, because we were in our prevent defense. Wes has a great ability to score the ball, but he's got a lot of things, as a lot of young players need to grow and understand how to play with discipline on both ends of the floor. But he's super, super talented. He's come along way quicker than we thought. Tonight with the injuries gave him an opportunity to step up offensively. Got to limit his turnovers a little bit more, but sometimes with an explosive score, and we're trying to teach him the point guard position. So he's really never been a point guard, and so we're trying to get him to slide over there and give us some minutes. But he's a super aggressive player now. We just, sometimes you can't teach aggressiveness, so that's a good thing that he has it. Now we got to try to get him to understand when and where to gamble.
Speaking of gambling, you got a couple players do that tonight, and then sometimes they got to steal, sometimes they didn't. Might cause an extra point. Is that something that you're teaching them to? Is that something that you want them to do?
Yeah, I mean, I think when you study Idaho State, they do a great job of moving the ball and eating shot clock. I mean, we've played 2 games now against 2 teams that just, they're running their offense 30 feet from the basket to just try to get the ball first side, second side, milk possessions. They didn't want to run with us, which was probably smart. And I'm trying to speed the game up. And so that's why the aggressiveness, but we've got to understand when to gamble, what hand to gamble with. You got to gamble with the hand that's closest to the ball if you're jumping in a passing lane. We had 2 fouls where the ball's on this side of the floor and we're reaching with our right hand. We need to reach with our left hand if the ball's on the left side. So there's a lot of technique things we got to certainly improve on, but after 2 games, we don't expect them to, to be where we need to be.
Must be close with Clark, obviously, that lineup you had, obviously that's a function of, in part missing Matt and some of those other guys, but, in that situation, do you think about, playing the freshmen? Do you want to see more experience on the floor in those situations? What do those guys, Wesley, Zan need to do to be on the floor in those situations?
Yeah, I would say that we only got 2 sample sizes, but the freshmen have had more opportunity than most of our freshmen. We've started 2 of them both games, and quite frankly, I've gone with vets, especially this early, unless it's Moses Moody, Anthony Black. I thought Isaiah played really, really well tonight. I thought he played his minutes really well. I thought Wes had some great moments, but you got to get a shot on goal when it's last 8 minutes of the game, and we felt like Clark offensively would be a little bit safer because of his experience. It's a close game. It's a game we can't lose. And so we felt like, with Clark being a 4-year player, being a good foul shooter, being a 3-point threat, that all those things aligned.
You
One more?
talked about this with Saint before in the past, but in addition to the passing tonight, just seems like he's such kind of a heartbeat and emotional barometer at times for this program. Like, how important is that to this locker room and to this team's kind of identity?
Yeah.
He's feeling that.
No, I think Saints, emotional feel for the team is one need. Like I relate to. I'm emotional. He's emotional. I relate to that. Guys that are Joe Cool and don't play with fire, it's a little harder to relate to. So, and we need him. I mean, he was telling our bench we need energy. He's about the right things. Sometimes he gets frustrated if he sees the game in a unique way. He doesn't see the game like a normal college basketball player. That's why he had 9 assists in the first half, because he's one of our better scorers. So he sees like second, third, fourth options where maybe other guys only see one option. So he can also get frustrated too, for good reason. I mean, he does see the game like a coach. He's got incredible basketball IQ for someone his age.
Thank you, Coach.